Hello everyone, this video is going to walk you through on how to identify bass clef pitches on sheet music. So the second kind of staff we're going to learn about is called the bass staff. The symbol that we have right over here, this is called bass clef, and the bass clef is used to show lower pitched notes. Lower pitched instruments such as the trombone, tuba, bass, etc. are instruments that are going to be mainly reading sheet music with bass clef instead of treble clef. When you are playing piano, the bass clef usually shows what your left hand is going to be playing. This is also sometimes called the F clef, just because this little gap over here between the dots is the same location where the note F is going to be. The first note in bass clef is G. First line note is G. All right, so next we have A, but it's no different than when we were doing treble clef or piano keys. So as you go up, you go forwards in the same exact musical alphabet, which is, again, still the same, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then G over here. So just remember that we restart at A. As I add more notes, again, just watch how I'm alternating between line and space while going forwards in order in the musical alphabet. So we have a space, we move to a line, and then next is B, next is C on a space, next is D on a line, E space, F line, G space, then A on a line. I want to take this chance because I did not think I mentioned this on the previous video, but when you move from a pitch that's say on a line up to the next space or space to the next line, either up or downwards, one name that we will use to describe that is called moving by steps. So again, if you're moving from a line up to a space, line, down to a space, or if you're starting on a space, down to a line out, or space up to a line out, right? That's just called moving by steps. If you're going in order, either forwards or backwards, that's called moving by steps. If you're starting on a line, the closest two notes, either up or down, has to be a space just because of the alternating pattern, right? You only got spaces or lines, so it's always just going to alternate. If you start on the space note, the closest two notes, either up or down, uh, they'll have to be in line. Since we're also on the topic of steps right now, we also have something which is called skips. Instead of moving to the very next note, like for example G to A to B to C, D, and so on, you do what the name skip says. You just skip over a note. So for example, if I am starting on C and I want to go up a skip, I would just be passing over D and landing on E. If I want to start on C again and I want to skip down, I would land on A. Pay attention to how steps alternate the lines, right? So line, space, line, space, line, space, line, space, line. But on the other hand, this second kind of movement, which is called skips, just moves from the same kind of category that the note is. So if this is a space note and you move up a skip, it will always be a space, a space, a space, and so on. Or if you're starting on a line note and you're moving up by skips, you'll start on a line and you will always skip and you will always end up on a line note. All right, so far we've covered all the notes on the staff in bass clef. However, just like in treble clef, there can be notes above or below the staff as well. And I'm going to introduce just two notes above the staff today. The first note is the same note as the previous slide's last note, which is A. And we have a line. We go up a step, go forwards in the alphabet. Turns to B, and then still making sure we have line and then space. And then the next one, if this is a space, the next note, if you're moving by steps, is going to be a line. So, yep, here. Then after B, which is a space note, we step up to C, and then it's going to be a line note. And then remember that this little line that we add, that's called the ledger line. It has to be added just to show exactly and precisely what note is written. After that, we have just a few little shortcuts that you can kind of put to use. So just like how there was a phrase that I taught you guys for treble clef, in bass clef, starting from the bottom, since it's G, B, D, F, A, it's going to be great big dogs from Alaska. Or if you're pointing at the staff, great big dogs from Alaska. Um, so the first word of each word is the pitch name, counting upwards by lines only. Or if you think about the term we used earlier, you're just starting on a line and just moving up by skips. Then a method to remember your space notes in bass clef is with this phrase, which is all cows eat grass. Same thing as before. We start on a space, and if we're skipping, we're just always going to end up on a space. And then, yeah, A, C, E, G, all cows eat grass. Just as a very quick recap, our first or bottom line note is G. When counting upwards, we alternate between line and space, and we move forwards in the alphabet. So after G, we restart at A, and we just go forwards. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then restart again. That's also called skips. Oops. And then when we're moving from a line note to the very next 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 line note, that is called skipping. And same thing from space to space to space to space. That is called skipping. Then the two notes above the bass staff I want you to know from the start are B and then C. So we get there by starting at A and counting forwards, which gets us from A to B and then B to C. So in conclusion, that about covers it for how to read notes on the staff in bass clef. For the most part, it's essentially the same thing as treble clef. Notes or pitches are just placed or start in different areas compared to treble clef. Just remember the different kind of movements that we can have between notes. So we have steps where you move to the very next note, making sure you're alternating between space and lines, and then skips where you just move to the same type as the original note. Just remember, if you're not 100% sure of something, it's your responsibility to ask me in class or over email. More than happy to help you out. Thanks for following along again, and I'll see you guys on the next video.